Goldman Sachs, one of the biggest banks in the world, just went all in on Bitcoin. Also, a $1.36 million Bitcoin target by 2030. How? The full analysis behind that target. There could also be another huge country adopting Bitcoin after El Salvador announced this recently. I'm going to the Bitcoin Miami conference and we've just heard a little bit of alpha that there could be another huge country announcing at the conference. And also how to make money in a bear market. We've written a full strategy on how you can try and earn money even when the market is going down. I'm going to cover that at the end. All that and more on our daily crypto show. Welcome back, or if you're new to the channel, my name is Ben Simpson. I'm the founder of Collective Shift. And if you're busy like me, crypto is absolutely impossible to stay across of. What we do at Collective Shift is try and keep you ahead of the market, letting you know the upcoming trends and all the most important things in the shortest amount of time possible. If you're like me, you've only got 8 to 10 minutes worth of time a day to try and catch up on all the news. I'm going to give you that in this video. And if you want more analysis as well as our investments, what we're buying and what we're selling live, not only in crypto but also in NFTs, you can sign up for Collective Shift for a 14-day free trial and receive all of our analysis and alerts and community. Enough of that, let's get into it. Overnight, Goldman Sachs announces their first big major Wall Street bank with an OTC order on Bitcoin, facilitated by Galaxy Digital. These guys have a long-term partnership. They're not actually buying Bitcoin underlying asset themselves, but what they are doing is they're doing an OTC non-deliverable option trade through Galaxy Digital. Now, that sounds pretty complicated, but all Goldman Sachs are doing is they're buying a contract, betting on the future price of Bitcoin rather than buying the underlying asset themselves. Rather than having to worry about the storage and all this sort of stuff, they're just betting that Bitcoin will be higher down the line. This is the first time we've seen a major bank buy Bitcoin. Head of digital assets at Goldman Sachs basically sent a statement: "We are pleased to have executed our first cash-settled cryptocurrency options trade with Galaxy Digital." And the co-president of Galaxy Digital said, "We are pleased to continue and strengthen our relationship with Goldman and expect the transaction to open the door for other banks considering OTC as a conduit for trading digital assets." This could be the start of a number of other banks buying Bitcoin, and rather than having to worry about custody and storage, they can bet on options and futures contracts through some of these bigger players. Now, this is a first of its kind transaction. Off the back of it, Bitcoin has pumped around 3% overnight, ticking up nearly around the $42,000 mark. This is absolutely huge news in my opinion. The more that these bigger banks and governments understand, rather than fighting it, they're actually joining on to where Bitcoin is heading as a digital asset, a native, clean store of money. More people are going to come and get involved. It's absolutely huge news. Looking into another potential way Bitcoin will increase, we're looking at the markets that Bitcoin could continue to take on. The market cap of Bitcoin is $1.1 trillion, which is absolutely tiny in the context of things. Some of the use cases for Bitcoin that we think will take over some of these different use cases will be digital gold. The market cap alone is around $10 trillion. So even if Bitcoin was to take 50%, 10%, 5% of the gold market cap, it would be a huge gain to the market cap total capitalization. It's only at 1.1 trillion right now. 50% of digital gold, 5% of corporate treasuries, 2.55% of institutional investments, seizure and restraint asset, nation state treasury, economic settlement network, emerging market currency, and the remittance network. If it was to take a little bit of percent of each of these different use cases, we could see Bitcoin at a $1.36 million per Bitcoin asset by 2030. Head over to ARK Invest. They've got the full analysis behind that. You can check out this chart, but that is a potential way if Bitcoin continues to take over some of these different areas where it's trying to be taking over some of the traditional markets. Digital gold is the easiest way that Bitcoin will continue to increase its market capitalization. Gold, you've got to buy it, you've got to store it, you've got to chop it up, you've got to carry it. Very hard to maneuver. It does have the historic price association with it, but Bitcoin's native, it's decentralized, fungible. You can send it anywhere in the world. Anyone can set up a wallet. It's limited supply. Network is the strongest in the world. It's never gone down. Bitcoin is super valuable, and I think we'll start to take over some of the gold and other areas over the next few years and continue to see price go up. Malaysia could be the latest country to adopt Bitcoin as an official currency. It's been about 6 months since El Salvador and the first country in the world to recognize Bitcoin as its legal tender. Could Malaysia be the next? Deputy Minister of Communications of the multimedia company on Monday said Southeast Asian countries could recognize Bitcoin and other crypto assets as a legal tender. On Altcoin Daily this morning, they interviewed the head of marketing at the Bitcoin Miami 2022 conference, which I'm going to in a couple of weeks. By the way, I've never been in the US. From little old Tasmania, I'm really looking forward to this conference. But this announcement this year at this conference could be a country and will make last year look like it is tiny. We could see a huge announcement coming out of the Bitcoin Miami 2022 conference. I'm super excited to be over there at the time of the announcement. I'm going to let you guys all know ahead of time as soon as we find out all more bullish news for Bitcoin. Now, I did a beginner's outline to Terra in a video yesterday. The UST stablecoin is an uncollateralized stablecoin. It's not pegged to anything. It's trying to be pegged to the dollar, but there's nothing behind it. It burns Luna, their other native token, to stabilize the $1 peg. I've seen recently in Terra, if you sell a lot of UST at once, it can reduce that peg. It happened in May last year, it had a flash crash. So what they've done is they've actually gone ahead and bought around $10 billion worth of Bitcoin to back and use as collateral against the UST stablecoin, which is absolutely huge. Why they chose Bitcoin as a reserve asset? Bitcoin is the only hard reserve asset that's been proven out of the digital currencies. It is very difficult for somebody in crypto to question Bitcoin. This is the number 7 crypto asset in the world. This is a $3 or $4 billion market capitalization. They have come out and said that to create, they've got these algorithmic stablecoins, but you need some collateral behind it. Rather than using the USD dollar, they are using Bitcoin as it is the native, clean store of currency, store of wealth, store of money in the world. And I think we'll start to see Bitcoin continue to be this hard asset that more companies, more stable coins will continue to utilize. And stable coins are huge. Their UST is the 3rd or 4th biggest stable coin behind Tether, USD, etc. In future, potentially Bitcoin will be the pair that people look at to understand the real value. Not US dollar, not Australian dollars, not Canadian dollars, Bitcoin. And I think this is starting to see the first steps of Bitcoin being that. Go over and check out my video if you want to learn more about Terra. India have announced a new crypto tax rule. Now, this is really interesting. Basically, what they're saying is losses from one crypto asset cannot be used to offset gains in another. So if you lose some in trading Bitcoin, you cannot offset that versus gains from another asset. Death by over-regulation seems to be the strategy. It doesn't really make sense to me. It seems more than ever the government in India is on the path of trying to kill crypto by over-regulation. They're making tax so high and compliance so expensive that no one will invest into crypto. People will find their way around this. Government regulation cannot continue to stranglehold the use of Bitcoin and crypto. Same when the internet era came around. Many people didn't agree with the internet and thought it was going to be big, so they over-regulated, made it really hard. But again, new technology, innovation wins. And it'd really suck if that was the legislation that they brought here in Australia. I'd probably move. Nearly $6 billion in Ethereum burned as Ethereum 2.0 edges closer. So we've spoken about this recently. Ethereum is moving from proof of work to proof of stake, and a part of their recent upgrade, burning a lot of Ethereum. Ethereum's burn mechanism is hotter than ever, as crypto's second largest network has officially destroyed over 2 million ETH since the mechanism was introduced last August. Over $5.82 billion of Ethereum has been removed from circulation forever. This is a part of the London hard fork and is making the fee and burn structure more deflationary and more towards ultrasound money. This creates a deflationary effect, which there are fewer and fewer Ethereum on the market to buy. Head over Collective Shift and read the incoming Ethereum 2.0 and what this means. It's a super bullish for Ethereum. I'm continuing with dollar cost average. We continue to be bullish long term. The famous NFL superstar Tom Brady also came out and said he's a big fan of Vitalik. Vitalik actually tweeted that he didn't know who Tom Brady was, and they met on Twitter, and that's all pretty funny. Brady praised Buran as the GOAT, greatest of all time. Vitalik was also named on the front of the Time magazine. Switching to NFTs quickly. In that interview, he referred to the Bored Ape Yacht Club when discussing the tendency of those within the industry around NFTs as the peril is if you have these $3 million monkeys, it becomes a different kind of gambling. Despite the unimpressed with the public figures of Paris Hilton, Jimmy Fallon, shilling their own Bored Ape Yacht Club, they are just looking to buy yachts and Lambos, Buran said. He did say that it is have one silver lining, and the Russian-born wrote to the Time and said all the recent blockchain-based efforts amidst the Russia-Ukraine crisis have served to remind the crypto community the goal of crypto is not to play games with $1 million pitches of monkeys. It's to do things that accomplish meaningful effects in the real world. To finish off, how can you make money in the bear market? There's 3 main ways. 1, stake or lend your crypto. For example, using your Ethereum, Luna, Solana, whatever, with Lido. With the merge coming, it's expected ETH APY will raise from the current 4% APY to nearly 10%. This is because miner tips and transaction fees will 100% go to stakers. So you can stake your Ethereum. You can head over and watch this tutorial. Nick posted about this recently. You can also lend your crypto, like on DeFi protocols in Anchor using the Terra ecosystem. You can earn up to 20% APY on their UST stablecoin. It is a little bit higher risk and probably won't last forever, but the 20% is quite attractive. Number 2, take advantage of research. Use this bear market as an opportunity to understand what's going on in the space. Educate yourself. Track NFTs, track crypto projects, sign up to Collective Shift, 14-day free trial. It is next to impossible for even full-time people to stay across what's happening in the crypto space. And that is why we've built Collective Shift. So you can save time by only spending a limited amount of time a day looking at our content feed. We can keep you up to date with all the latest stuff, and you can see exactly what we're buying and what we're selling with all the live alerts inside our platform. You get the community, you get the comments, you get the engagement. We've got a bunch of experts that we hire to do all this work for you. We made an investment back in October in a DeFi play. It's up 120% in a bear bear market. Sign up for a 14-day free trial over at Collective Shift. Please like, please subscribe, leave me a comment if you've got any feedback. Apart from that, I'll see you tomorrow on our Daily Crypto Show. Thanks and bye for now.